Air fryers have been everywhere recently, except here. As it is, I'm already low on counter space. But I really do want to know what the hype is all about, and what's actually going on in these things. So, this is MinuteFood. First things first, you're not actually frying anything in here. When you deep fry or pan fry something, the oil is what transfers heat to your food. In an air fryer, it's air that's transferring heat to your food. In other words, an air fryer is a tiny, very cleverly marketed oven. Not a regular oven, though. Those use a heating element to raise the temperature of the air inside. But since air doesn't hold all that much heat, and the heat it does hold takes a while to get transferred through the air, heat up the layer of cool air surrounding your food, and then interact with your food, cooking something in an oven is a pretty slow process. But if the air inside is in motion, the hot air is more likely to interact with your food, and the cold air is more likely to get swept away. So heat gets transferred much more quickly to whatever you're cooking. That's the basic principle behind an air fryer. It's also the principle behind convection ovens. That's why you'll often see people referring to air fryers as convection ovens, which isn't wrong, but also isn't actually their closest analog. See, air fryers move air way more quickly than convection ovens, which means they can transfer heat to food way more quickly than convection ovens, about twice as fast, nearly as fast as what's called an impingement oven. That's the industrial-looking thing you've probably seen in your local chain pizza place, or coffee shop, or sandwich store. Impingement ovens blast super high-velocity, super hot air. And unlike the more passive air movement of most convection ovens, they blast it directly at the food inside. Air fryers are basically scaled-down impingement ovens. They're pretty much the fastest way that you can use air to transfer heat to food at home. And how fast you transfer heat matters, because cooking food fast doesn't just cook it fast. It cooks it differently. If you've seen our video on crispiness, you know that the faster you can get moisture out of food, the crispier it'll get. As a result, fries from a convection oven should be crispier than those from a standard oven, and fries from an air fryer should be crispier than those from a convection oven. But here's the thing. Even if you move air super fast, air just can't transfer heat as well as oil, at least in normal home cooking conditions. Oil can hold more heat than an equal volume of air, and transfer that heat more efficiently. So actually frying something transfers heat about 4 times faster than air frying it. That means fries that are, well, fried have the capacity to be way crispier than what comes out of an air fryer. Plus, since the heat transfer rate also affects other processes, like how the starch inside a French fry gelatinizes, there will be other physical differences too. And of course, by cooking with air rather than oil, you'll miss out on, well, the oil. When you deep fry something, it absorbs oil, as much as 40% or so, depending on the food. And that oil adds flavor, changes how the food feels in our mouth, even helps seasonings stick. No matter how quickly you transfer heat, food that's cooked without much oil just won't have the same qualities as food that is. So am I saying that scientifically air fryers suck? Definitely not. Thermodynamically, at least, air frying is one of the best alternatives to actual frying that most of us have. So if you're willing to sacrifice some of the fried food experience for the sake of your health, or for easier cleanup, or so your kids can cook their own dinner without getting third-degree burns, an air fryer might be a great option. Or if you're not actually trying to imitate fried food, all that airflow makes air fryers really good and really fast at stuff like roasting vegetables and reheating pizza. Depending on what your priorities are, what you're cooking, and yes, how much counter space you have, you may adore your air fryer or be convinced it's not worth the hype. And scientifically, at least, both sides have a point. As for me, it turns out I'm in the second group. Between my oven's convection setting and the occasional deep fry session, I found I can cook everything just as well, and usually better, with what's already in my kitchen. But for the sake of science, I'm also really glad I gave this thing a try. The opposite of an air fryer is a VPN. Wait, hear me out. Lots of people swear by air fryers, but could probably do without them. Whereas most people don't use a VPN, but they really should. Like, I love working from coffee shops, but I always wonder whether the Wi-Fi network I'm connecting to is actually the coffee shops or some creepy hacker out to steal my data. Using NordVPN, which sponsored this video, protects me against this kind of super common and super scary cyber attack. Plus, it lets me watch the awesome international cooking shows that I otherwise couldn't watch because of where I live. Right now at nordvpn.com/minutefood, you can get a 2-year NordVPN plan at a huge discount, plus 4 additional months for free. That's an extra free month compared to most of the other NordVPN deals you'll see. And it's risk-free with a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's nordvpn.com/minutefood. Or click the link in the description below.